Hey everybody, before we get started, I just want to remind you this episode is brought to you by our patrons like Aga Comics, Qua, Drago66, and Nestor Flores. If you like what we do and want to see us do more, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to episodes early and lots of other goodies, and it would really help us out. And as always, we appreciate your support.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And I'd really like to put the sound of Barbatos dying in here, because it's actually kind of funny, but I didn't pull that sound clip. Maybe Editor Lucky will remember it later. Anyway, hey everybody.
If I can get to it before he's dead?
Well, you always have one more chance. If you don't do the actual finishing quest, then he doesn't go away. So hey everybody, welcome to Let's Talk FGO. I am one of your hosts, 72 Demon Gods Omega. With me as always is Across the Stars Lucky.
Teehee. Everyone, I hope you're enjoying Fate Grand Order, aka The Final Countdown. And while we here at Studio Omega like to bring you the latest in FGO-related news and memes, we will be talking about current and future events for both the JP and EM version of the game. So anyone not wanting spoilers should just go fight together with the bonds you have created.
It took all my willpower not to immediately do a little when you said that.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of it's a knee-jerk reaction. It truly is.
Yeah. Because, one, that song is great, but also just, it's so memorable. Anyway, yes, hey, if either of us sounds a little distracted while we're doing this episode, it's because, well, I know I am beating up Demon Pillars. Lucky, are you beating up Demon Pillars?
I am beating up Demon Pillars.
Yeah. I'm on Barbatos number 9 right now. And yes, that's a little slow, but I got my, 4 or 5 in at night when it starts, and then I was like, fuck, I gotta go to sleep.
Yeah,
I was able to accurately predict mentally. I was like, he'll probably be half alive when I wake up. Yep.
Yeah, no, actually, I noted this. It was around 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. He had been killed over 1 million times. Holy shit.
Which I believe is the halfway point.
Yep. So that's 11 hours. No, yeah, 11 hours. Everyone, by the time you hear this, he'll probably be long dead.
Yeah, he is between 1/3 and 1/4 right now, as I am punching him repeatedly. And I'll admit also, my Barbatos setup is a little slow, because I don't actually have any of the damage-dealing casters myself. I tried it with my own Medea with, Black Grail or Heaven's Feel. It's not enough damage. Plus, also, there's that one asshole who gives you arts. I mean, I can't one-shot him, but I need somebody else's damage dealer to even do respectable amounts of damage, because even with a Bond 6 Medea, and all those enhancements, it doesn't go as far as you'd like.
It never does.
Casters are not great for this. I just got 3 gears, though.
Booyah.
I've been peopled. No. Fuck you. You can tell me what to do. And honestly, I can't get the most out of that because let's not skip ahead. Let's start with Wake the Fuck Up Senpai, we're going to for pro tips. Then we'll get through all our news and stuff. Then we can talk about what's going on with Solomon.
Senpai.
I feel that they need some Spanish guitar.
起きてください.
Yes, everybody, it's time for Wake the Fuck Up Senpai, we're going to for pro tips. I'm going to talk a lot. Lucky, why don't you take our pro tips?
Alrighty. So, our first pro tip is, don't forget, Demon Pillars drop mad QP in addition to match, which they drop a fuck ton of. So, if you need some, make sure to equip your Mona Lisa if you have one, and go to town. Seriously, on a lot of runs, I'm pulling in a minimum of 1 million QP, and trust me, it has been helping. Because the drops are glorious. Also, don't forget, this hasn't come up quite yet, but don't forget that after the raid is cleared to do the story quest for progress in that sweet summon ticket. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are eager to throw tickets while you can to get that sweet, sweet Merlin. And speaking of that, let's switch straight on over to Records from the Throne, our regular achievement topic. Omega?
Yeah, well, first, before we do that, I did decide to tab over to Berserkers just to see what people have on their setup. I don't have any friends with Kentokis, by the way, who are at least not enough who are showing up. But esteemed moderator and patron Jube did show up, and he has the lovely friend message of 3SQ, no Merlin, sad face.
Jim is a treat.
Yeah, friend messages are a godsend. I love them so much. Even though they censored my like, comment, and subscribe joke.
They what?
Yeah, they when I tried to put like, comment, subscribe, they censored it. So now I just say "Let's talk FGO" with an exclamation point.
Yeah, actually, someone else has "Let's talk FGO" as their friend message. Who was it?
It's Dallas.
Oh, it's Dallas. Thank you, Dallas. Thank you for the support. One of us.
All right, so Records from the Throne, our regular achievement topic. Well, first off, this is a little minor, but I was working kind of hard on it beforehand. I got Mephistopheles' Smile protected. Also did his rank up. Boom. Just for shenanigans. And, hey, so if you follow me on Twitter, you know this already, but... So last night, everybody's rolling Merlin. I threw my one ticket that I had from, like, daily logins, and I got just some rando 3-star C. And I'm like, all right, that was my pull. There's my joke. I tried. I'll throw some more tickets later. But everybody was rolling. Our Discord was doing pretty good. I don't know how fast they were doing pretty good, but most people were getting good pulls. They were getting some Merlins, and I'm like, oh man, everybody's so hot tonight. They're getting good pulls. I got a 10 pull. They gave me 30 quartz. Should I go ahead and use it? And so I did, and got Merlin 110 pull. I also got another copy of Limited Zero Over, so I now have that max limit break, which is cool. Mm-hmm. If you actually look on my Twitter, you can see the full pull. It was super trolly. Like my first was 500 Year Grudge, the Zoken CE, and then there was a Geronimo, and then a Tofu, right? So I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna write off this 10 pull. But then it was Limited Zero Over, and then a couple later it was Merlin, gold, rainbow sparkles and everything, and it was just like, well, shit. I don't have the EXPs for this. And I don't. But yeah, that's me.
Over on my side, so I'm gonna let you people know right now. And my token and feeble resistance against the meme that is Merlin. I'm not actually gonna tell people if I actually got him or not. Because, as I said, like, I kind of, like, get ticked off at everyone going on about, like, how you have to have Merlin, or Merlin is a game changer. Like, I'm sick of fucking Merlin. He wasn't in a game for, like, a year and a half, and now that he's actually here, it has just become that much oppressive. So, I rolled for him. No one gets to know if I got him. But other than that, I did get my third Artoria, so I have MP3 Artoria. Fun fact, apparently a lot of people have been getting Artorias while rolling for Merlin. It's the secret Artoria rate up, so woo! I also got the Demonic Boat of Vista, so I got my first KRC. I'm super happy. CCC event soon. I also got my Rider Martha and Assassin Imya to MP5, along with more K-Scope! I literally just need one more and I'll have a second one max lemon breaked. Also, even more rare prisms. I spent some money, like I always do, because that's how my luck works. I have to make a sacrifice, which is my cold hard cash. And my SR luck was ridic. Like, I pulled Dion, Ibaraki, Tamamo Cat, Steno, Emmy Assassin, Rider Martha, Siegfried. It was just a lot.
God damn it, Barbatos, stop doing that dumb thing you do where you give me skill cooldowns.
That's so weird. That's why I try to beat him before he does it. Like, he doesn't do it before, like...
Well, it's on his self-charge, which is really annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, but, like, I've noticed about, like, Barbaros, he doesn't do any of his abilities until after he's done his Noble Phantasm, usually, so...
No, he definitely did it first for me. Because that's, like I said, it's on his charge-up skill.
Anyway, but yeah, that's it. That's it for my records. But guess what? This week we also have some Not All the World's Evil, but damn close. And this one's me again. Because this is how I live my life.
Yeah, my All the World's Evil is going to come later because I'm literally going out of town for a weekend, and I'm not going to be able to do more than log in, maybe.
Oh my god. So, during last week's show, everyone who listening heard, but I live rolled, and I was able to pull Gorgon. I was like, yeah, super excited. But, when you do a whole bunch of rolling, you get a whole bunch of extra. So I did the responsible thing, and I went and started clearing them out. And I accidentally burned Gorgon. It was a very strange moment when I was like, all right, let me level up Gorgon. And I'm digging through my list. I'm like, I can't find her.
And this is why we lock first.
Yep. So that automatically flipped my fucking switch, and I went into Vengeance roll mode. For those who do not know what Vengeance roll mode is, where I get so pissed that I start rolling uncontrollably, and none of my money is safe. Yeah, I got her back. My wallet is definitely not happy, though. I actually had to dip into my credit card.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh boy. I don't know about you, but one of my New Year resolutions is going to be gacha responsibly.
We'll see. I feel like you've said that before.
Yeah. But let's see. But that's it for that. As I said, I've already got her to level 70. But guess what? Babylonia doesn't really give you much in the way of Cursed Beast Gallstone, so I'm kind of stuck at the fucking moment.
Yeah, that's something I think everybody who got a Gorgon has run into. The game gives you enough mats, except for those, which only gives you 2. So, yeah. That's not 8.
So
2 is not 8, guys.
So, Sabmok is getting shishoed right now with a bunch of spears.
Yeah, I'm going to transition to that guy, because I need those mats the most.
Yeah, I said I beat up Barbados 20 times, and I think that's
but I also need pages.
For now. So,
yeah, I think that's everything. We should probably go ahead and mention what minimal news there is.
Yeah. So, over in JP, we have the Winterfest Daily Summon banner, which is running from December 21st to December 31st. It's a banner with the Napoleon raid up all the time, with rotating raid ups on Edison and Valkyrie. Also, Mephisto is there for some odd reason. This is in reference to the Winterfest circus-esque key visuals, which are adorable. If you get a chance, you should check them out.
I have posted some of them.
Yeah.
That I saved from that stream. Yeah, and they're going to do a stream tonight, I think, but guess what? We're recording the show now, so hey, we don't know. Maybe they'll announce New Year's. Maybe they won't. Who knows? But yeah,
as I said, we got Mega's gonna be talking a lot later, so we're gonna keep on going.
Yeah, we'll transition into free talk. All right, so free talk.
All right, so we're gonna go straight into the free talk, and guess what? I'm leading in charge here because Omega has to talk a lot later. So, right off the bat, now that we're at the 21st, we have lifted the ban on Babylon spoilers because everyone should have got through it because I'm pretty sure they wanted to if they wanted to get that 30 quartz. Funny how that works out.
And even if you're slow, it's
Omega, anything
you've had some time, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, I should say, I put the word out on an official moratorium on Solomon / Part 1 finale spoilers up to the 31st until the new year, because that's our in-game deadline. So, yeah, everybody, if you want to talk about actual stuff about the chapter. Ooh. That's a lot of rain all of a sudden. Hopefully that doesn't come too strong on my mics.
I didn't hear anything. But I can't actually think of anything like spoiler, like super spoilery, because unfortunately we kind of cut loose here on the show.
Because we have a warning.
We have a warning. We tell people. So, but let's move into Solomon. As I said, unfortunately, like there really wasn't a lot of there wasn't really a lot of story to go on. But they did have some interesting bits. As usual, you start the singularity out with a dream, but it's not whose you would think it is immediately, I would say. I was spoiled about a particular fact a little while ago, but even if I hadn't been spoiled, I think it'd have been about this part right about now where I was started putting some pieces together.
Yeah, knowing that information beforehand, the story in Solomon is not necessarily subtle about the reveal. They're not explicit yet, but we won't ruin it for anybody who doesn't know, even though we've said, spoilers and all that. But you can probably figure it out by now if you're paying attention.
Yeah, like, I don't actually want to say it out loud because, like, I feel like...
No, we'll save that for next week.
Yeah, there are small spoilers, which you can be like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah. And then there's big spoilers. And you're just like, huh! But, yeah, so we start out with a dream that, puts some things in perspective. It doesn't really answer anything, but you kind of get a feeling of what things were like and how things led up to this point. And you get this from both sides, actually.
Yeah.
So there's a dream. People wake up. Everyone's like, shit, it's time.
Yep.
The master wakes up. Mash wakes up. You have a talk because Mash is a homunculus, and she's nearing the end of her lifespan.
Actually, that is important to note. Mash is not explicitly a homunculus. She's more of an actual artificial human, not like necessarily magic, but more like a designer baby, I think.
Yeah, but
but she does still have a similar, limited lifespan, which is rapidly going down.
Yep. Basically say that Da Vinci calls you up and basically says, like, if she goes on this, like, last battle, she's not gonna have enough strength to last the year. You try to confront her about this, but no, she's like, no, senpai, I'm going with you. And you're like, oh, I can't resist you. I can't say no.
Mm-hmm.
Foe is around, being the mysterious animal that he always is.
Yep.
Like, I thought I had Foe figured out. Turns out I did not have Foe figured out, so, I'm hoping that gets answered soon. Let's see here.
Sadly, I think a noise reduction will cut out the sound of me smiling. But it was very subtly there.
Because originally I thought, like, Foe was, like, an avatar of Merlin. Like, some sort of, like, thing he was using to spy. But it turns out Merlin doesn't even need that shit.
No. He's just there.
Apparently, he's just there. And a Foe, does not like Merlin.
Which is funny, because Merlin's like, Cat Plug, I look after you.
And he gets scratched, kicked in the face.
Though,
by the way, we have...
The thing with Merlin, though, that I think is important to note is that Romani says that Magimari yelled at him.
Yeah, isn't Magimari supposed to be a program that he whipped up to... Hey, what's going on here?
Well, yeah, Magimari was an internet idol that he followed that he said that Chaldea was able to copy all the internet data and make an AI that functions like it, but yeah.
Let's see here. So basically the plan is you're literally gonna ram your dimension into Solomon's dimension and you're gonna fucking fight it out. Like literally, like Chaldea is like temporally and physically and true I'm not entirely sure how they explained it. But
so
it's real
the Temple of Time is outside of time, and the only way to ray shift you there is to physically make contact with it, which is okay because it's sucking you in. So you're basically gonna transition dimensions and touch the final singularity, so that they can shoot you inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
Or something.
And you do this, you ray shift, and there is fucking Left being a fucking dick. Also,
I feel like we should even more specifically say Floros is being a dick.
Yeah,
because he basically admits that the way this whole demon pillar thing works is that in the bloodlines of mages since the death of Solomon, who was established as the founder of the modern system of magecraft, right? They already said that he kind of set up the system that all modern magi use. So in their bloodlines, he apparently hid 72 demon pillars, who would arise someday and do the stuff. So, because in the earlier dream sequence, Lev actually designed Sheba, the prediction engine.
Yep.
So he was a huge help to Chaldea, but at the same time, he also betrayed you. So Mash tries to figure out, like, when did you flip, Professor Lev? Because obviously you were on our side at some point. Otherwise, you wouldn't have bothered. It would have been way easier if you hadn't helped us. But he's just like, when did I flip? 3,000 years ago or something.
It's like, heck.
So, Solomon's plan was in place the entire time. Gasp. Yeah, Axe is talking about how hacks the pillars are. They're very hacks. They're especially hacks in this dimension because you bully the shit out of Floros again and again, but he keeps coming back. And you're like, no, they're unlimited. They're the ground. We're going to reuse that one CG from America.
Yep. They actually explain it that this whole dimension... Da Vinci actually goes into this, how this whole area is literally one organism. And it's actually only the size of a human cell, apparently. But because it's the entire unit, it's basically the entire universe. It can be whatever fucking size it wants. It's very...
Romani explicitly calls it a reality marble.
Yeah. The Grand Temple of Time, Solomon. But
it's also hearkened to be similar to the Greater Grail, which is interesting.
And they actually go into that about how a magus basically tore out her magic circuits and used herself as the basis for it.
Also, here's another thing. I forgot to mention this earlier, but pay close attention to all the fucking names of things being dropped. Those aren't throwaways.
No.
Like, none of those are throwaway names. And if... because I'm pretty sure it's mentioned explicitly in the name of that chapter, so anybody who pays close attention to what the event is actually called should know this already. But, hey, if anybody asks, are we getting CCC, point them to the first block of dialogue in Solomon, where Marsbury explicitly name-drops Seraphix. Because that's the actual location and name of the CCC event.
He owns it.
Yeah. So, no shit. It's called a collab, but it's actually honestly a basically like a limited story event. It's actually important to the core story of FGO. So, yes, we're doing it.
But, so, basically, Lev/Floris keeps coming back. You keep trying to wreck his shit, but you can't. And he smashes you. And this is me being nitpicky, but... Because basically what happens is you're like, oh, I guess your master, hits that despair. It's like, you guess is all for nothing. And then, boom. Motherfucking Deus Ex Machina happens. Like, some people might not consider it Deus Ex Machina, but I consider it Deus Ex Machina.
I mean, it is and it isn't. On the one hand, it's thematically built to, right? Like, and in fact, we've talked about the Throne of Heroes before. In a sense, Time Temple Solomon is a lot like the throne. It is something that exists outside the access of time and projects itself to various times and places. So the concept that heroic spirits could just, be looking for you in your bad moment and throw them at you. But yes, there's no necessarily explicit understanding of the mechanics of what is going on. Solomon doesn't explain anything, and Roman and Da Vinci are just like, it's a miracle.
Yeah.
Like, the actual mechanics of the Solomon universe don't explain it, and then it's just like, Chaldea's just like, by the way, while they're getting their asses kicked by more demon pillars. That's I think is part of why you have that despair moment, because you lose contact with everybody. It's just you and Mash, of course, getting blasted by the demon pillar, and then it's like, nope, everybody's here.
Yeah, and that's what it was. Like, Jean gives a fucking baller speech.
She gives the intro speech to the game, actually. From the trailers. Like, and honestly, like, I teared up. I cried a little. I'm not gonna lie, I did. Great speech.
It's a great speech. It's a great moment. Like, they're even saying, like, the servants are like, like meteors, like stars falling from the sky coming to help you. It's like, it's something really great, but this again just kind of, like, as much as I love, like, being the master and how much I emphasize that bonds are our origin, I don't necessarily like the fact that, again, like the master didn't do anything to, I guess I'd say the word is activate it. Like, he literally fell into despair, and then everyone here was like, nope, now we're going to show up, like, right fucking now. For reasons. Like, I think this would have been a great moment for the master to have some introspection about, like, everything that they're accomplished, how far they've come.
They can't have introspection, they're you. Did you have introspection?
Huh?
That's the thing. The player character is not a character. The player character is you. Did you have introspection?
Yeah.
Okay, then you had your introspection. Other people didn't have introspection. We talked about how the writing for this is really good, but there's some people who didn't have introspection. There's some people who skipped the story just to get to the demon pillars faster, right? Like,
yeah, I guess that's true.
The writing for this is beautiful, and I like the moment, but at the same time, it's kind of hard to put words in the player's mouth, as it were. That's often why like some of the dialogue choices are kind of like open-ended. And most of them don't mean anything. It's just like, because you can't account for all the millions and millions of players all the time, so if you had a moment of like thinking back about all that stuff, like, or not, there's that. But I gotta be honest, I feel like a lot of players probably didn't even care. They were just like, yeah, well, I'm gonna beat this guy up anyway, so
like, if there was a question that, if I was to make a dialogue, I would put in, it's like, I haven't thought out the whole scenario because I've only been thinking about this since yesterday, but at one point I want some mysterious voice to say, I ask of you, are you my master? And then you'd have the two dialogue choices of yes, but also I am ... and no, because I am your ... Because then you can like go on to the distinction of like, how do you feel about your servants? How do you feel about these bonds that you have created with you? Because like literally the power that that gives your that has given your servants, like, it's called the power of bonds. It's
right, but also the other thing is those are your servants. The servants who show up are the ones from the previous stories. They're all the characters you've met already along the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but still, it's the overarching thing. These are because of the bonds you have built across time and fucking space.
But that's why they show up, because you made those bonds. Your journeys weren't meaningless, even though you fucked up time, and Lev laughed at you. He literally laughs at you as a demon pillar. Oh, you were so amusing. And then for Babylonia, he's like, oh, that was a poor showing. That wasn't funny at all. And I'm like, fuck you, asshole. I'm gonna suplex you. Actually, no, I joltered him, which is really funny with the demon pillar sprites, by the way. I actually tweeted this, by the way. The
palming a demon pillar into a mountain.
Yeah, I tweeted this earlier. The best part of this event is getting to see NP animations against the demon pillars over and over again, because it is pretty hilarious.
Well, as I said, like, my pace is like, I feel like I understand that like they gotta, like, but because at the same time you are the master, and at the same time you are not, because guess what? They still make you choose dialogue options that based upon like usually one or two paths, and they never have actually any. Well, I take that back. They can, but it's usually like a mechanic in a battle on a story. So yeah, they could have like shoehorned all they want in there, and people probably would have been fine with it. Because either they would have read it and been like, oh, cool, more story, or they would have fucking skipped it in the first place and not cared.
I don't know. I mean, to me, it's not important because, hey, we're probably going to do Teach Me Omega-sensei today later. As a person who has occasionally dived deep into the nature of the writing of some of this stuff, I gotta be honest, Nasu doesn't give a fuck about any of that. To him, the cool sequences are the thing he's after, and somebody will make up some reason why it works later. A lot of his writing is based on these cool moments, whether they're a sudden reversal, a rise from despair, a final moment, whatever. And then you want to ask a logical conclusion later. It's like, whatever, it's a heroic story. The logic doesn't matter. They're heroes. They want to They want to, jump in. So, yeah, I mean, like, to me, it doesn't bother me at all because that's just, I've already kind of accepted the, like, why does anything happen, Why didn't you just, why didn't you go into the room and get blown up? How did you happen to just delay Dr. Roman long enough for him not to be killed in the explosion either? I know, counterforce or something. I don't fucking know. Like, there are a lot of coincidences fundamentally built on this story. So, like, to me, just the moment where it's like, you're as a character, you feel like you're all alone. You have a low point, and it's like, no. But by the way, all those connections you did make over the story do still matter, and here they are showing up to back you up. I don't feel like you need to put any moment of like realization on it. The story requires them to show up anyway, so they're gonna show up. And it just kind of cuts out the middleman.
I just don't think you should always cut out the middleman.
Anyway, that kind of that starts you on the path, and that's when you start your beating up pillars.
Yep. Basically, you fight a few of them, and then they all open up, and everyone goes to immediately bully Barbatos. Jesus fucking Christ!
I'm doing that right now.
Apparently people really want pages and hearts, because that's what he's dropping, along with assassin gems.
Lots of those. Oh, that was a terrible drop. I got no golds.
A lot of people.
Did you give me?
Let's see here. I'm currently working on Somnock because, as I was saying earlier, I need fucking.
It was all gems. There were no mats. Fucker.
I need fucking galls. I can never think of the damn name. Cursed Beast gallbladders.
Also, yes, Kwa has a good point in the chat. Merlin's skills take a lot of pages and hearts.
Yeah. Well, that's why everyone's focused on, because everyone's just blown their year's worth of savings on rolling the Dick Wizard, and now they want to be able to get into 10-10-10 so they can coast easy for the next year.
Yeah, that's not happening anytime soon for me. That's way too much work. I'm thinking about transitioning to Sabnock right now. I have enough pages to ascend Merlin, so I can get his level cap up.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. So hold on. Let me see. We are at over 1.5 million Barbatos is defeated. So yes, he has a quarter left.
Wow.
It appears that Floros, Fornius, and Sabnock are the next most popular.
Alrighty.
Which is good, because Amon is the least popular, so I'm really hoping that lasts through the weekend. Because, like I said, I'm going away.
Mm-hmm.
I will not be able to grind.
You see, if I get... I did 20 Barbatos because I need pages for Tamamo. And someone else. I got cock blocked somewhere else.
Yeah, I don't know.
But so I need pages for her because she is currently at 889, and I'm just like, so close. But for what else for Solomon? Oh, something I thought was really cool is I really like that for all the maps they took out the icons of the singularities and just used those. It's like I was looking at those. I want pins of those.
Yeah, those are really cool. Also, another important point: all the Demon Pillar battles are. The battle music is remixes of the map music.
Yeah.
Like, Barbatos is for, London. So obviously you see a lot of the London characters back, which is kind of cool. Kintoki shows up and turns himself into his writer version because he's just that golden.
Golden. Everyone say golden in the comments.
But yeah, so like that's like a remix of the London map theme. I have my thing muted, so I don't know, but I'm assuming that Sabnock is going to be some kind of Babylonia remix.
I need someone to make art of Berserker Kentucky making the Henshin pose. Be good. But yeah, like I looked on the FGO wikis, and they already have like clean versions of the icons, because if not, I was totally gonna grab them and clean them up myself. I got because I picked out London's and Babylonia's ones because they had not been covered up by numbers yet. and I was gonna clean them up and use them. I'm all like, I don't actually need to do that. Other people have already done this.
Oh.
Oh man, I wonder if I can find like a pen making service that can do it.
Probably. I would also say that before too long, I'm sure that Teespring, which our merch is through, will do pins, because they do all kinds of stuff now. We can do backpacks, all kinds of stuff.
It's like I could get a button making machine. Those aren't too expensive. It's like boom, singularity buttons. That'd be great merch. I wear them. But honestly, I don't know. Like that, like I said, we're literally like we're less than 24 hours into Solomon.
Yes, we are. Oops, I missed an opportunity to tell Areshki Gal. Who were you again?
Don't bully Areshki Gal. She's precious.
No, but she's more adorable that way. It's okay. She was still adorable.
I saw a comic about Areshki Gal like the other day where she's just like, I can't wait, and then she falls asleep and has a dream where she meets the master again. But then she wakes up and she's still like, I can't wait. I'm like, oh my god, I am dead. I'm dead. No, I can't wait a year. Oh, I can't. Oh, why are you so precious? Damn you, Ren faces.
Such adorableness. And I'm we haven't gotten to those battles. Maybe because they don't have battles, I should maybe do them real quick just to, see the story and stuff. But also it can wait. But yeah, I'm sure those have a lot of wonderful moments.
Oh yeah.
By the way,
because basically I think it's the way it is because basically everything starts off with a no battle, thing where I feel like I guess the word is you might get what you would call closure.
Yeah. Also, there is a story battle after the raid is finished, which lets you get your summon ticket, like you mentioned earlier, which I believe will allow you to pick story support again, like you did with the Saber Pillar.
So get wrecked. By the way, I totally forgot if this was what happened because when you were talking about the mechanics the last time I was spaced out. But do the other demon pillars like affect other demon pillars with the buffs? Yes,
that is what those are doing.
Okay.
So if you're really annoyed by one of those buffs, go ahead and take out another demon pillar. Like Sabnok is actually the one giving you that fucking HP recovery down that sucks a lot.
Oh.
Barbatos gives other pillars an invincible break. Which is the skill he gives himself.
Okay.
So when he goes away, you don't have to worry about that anymore, which will be great. I can continue because Jean is my highest level bond at plus 75% damage. So that's how I'm cruise controlling a lot of this. And if my fucking Merlin could be leveled, I'd be really cruise controlling because I'd let Jolter deal with all these idiots. Just hate them to death faster.
Oh, there's something that does kind of make me go, heck, is that Jolter didn't show up for...
It's probably because of her weird situation. I will see in others, like, if proper antagonists show up, because London's kind of weird because, like, Babbage and Tesla show up, even though technically you had to beat them, but, like, Lancer Alter didn't show up as, like, the final boss. We'll see if Altera shows up in, like, the Septim one. So it's interesting who they count as, like, antagonists to cut out.
Yeah,
people who
Vlad and Carmilla show up.
Yeah, people who serve directly is kind of interesting. Right? Like, I wonder if the mages... Also, yes, Axe. Wow, thanks. Great comments. No, my bond levels are very sporadic. Most are at 6 or 7. Jean is my best at 8. I really tried to drag everybody up with Babylonia, but I also had to defeat the chapter, I gotta be honest, like, in some cases people are like, oh, everything's easy, Moto, just do it. It's honestly not actually that quicker necessarily, even with really meta servants. Like, I have a Jolter with max foed attack and all that stuff and, like, really good skills. A lot of the battles are still fundamentally set up to take you fucking forever and require certain builds anyway. Like, I got so tired of dealing with Bel Lahamus, I had to actually switch in Chloe, who I wasn't necessarily using before, just to be like, all right, God, these guys are such a fucking pain in the ass. And they still take forever to beat up.
I'd say I only have like 2 bonds and servants, and it's Waver and fucking Tamamo Cat, because guess what? I've been using Tamamo Cat to farm embers since the fucking beginning.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's why is Lancelot one of my 7s? I think he might be. But yeah, that's why, because that's him and Arash are like the cornerstones of my 3-turn Ember farming setup.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get Waver until the second. Was it the second? Yeah, it was the second anniversary. So obviously, I've only had like 6 months to bond level him. All right. Do I need to switch? Yeah, I need to switch up my backup lines.
I should put my Tamamo Cat on the line and see what that 100+ does to her.
She's a berserker, so that's a fuck ton of damage.
Yeah,
you're gonna be real fragile.
That's why I'm glad she has a more. That's why I'm super glad she has a morph skill,
which will get better in the future.
It will. I'm so happy.
I gotta reorganize my fucking CEs. God damn it.
That's something that has been bugging me a little bit is like my CE game. I'm like, what do I fucking use?
Yeah, I got a lot of CEs now. Also, I gotta. Lucky, did you notice that you have, with the way the current max level works is it gives you exactly 111 points, which is like just shy of what you need for another 5-star CE or something. Ooh, it's really annoying.
I didn't.
Like just now I switched from a 4-star to a 5-star, and I had to drop the CE down to 4 stars. Because
basically what I
took
do
me to 112.
Is I have all SSRs and then like 3 no, I have 4. I have all SSRs in MASH. Then I have 2 SSR CEs, and then I have Chaldea Lunchtime, my Mystic Portrait, my Heroic Portrait for MASH, so more bomb points, and then the one for Friends points. Like, that's what I usually roll with. I think it puts me at like 108.
Yeah, I'm maxed out at 111 right now.
I could probably wing something different if I put Tamamo in there, because that frees up 4 points. It's like, but I'm not getting rid of Chaldea Lunchtime. Give me.
Yeah, I don't have Mona Lisa.
That.
I didn't have enough prisms, so I asked everybody, "Hey, should I buy some Mona Lisas?" And they were like, "No, it's not worth it." I'm like, "Okay, I'll wait for it to come back." And I will, because I got like 5k mana prisms right now. All right, how long have we been going? We've been going like 45 minutes. I figure we can probably stop banding about with Solomon, because I feel at this point we're kind of reiterating ourselves, just mumbling about us beating up demon pillars.
I mean, that's all that really is Solomon.
Yeah,
right
that's all we got. I mean, I know that there's going to be some very interesting sequences later, but we can't talk about that until next week, because that's we have to get through all the raids, and then we have to actually beat the final boss through multiple phases, which is no fucking cakewalk. As explained last week. That show actually did really good. I was wondering, because usually our shows with specific titles do the best. Mm-hmm. But both Babylonia Beauty and Solomon Samba and Panty Shots did great.
Well, I'll keep my mouth shut so Omega can get through a fuck ton of details.
All right, so hey, it's finally time. The show's not taking forever. Let's talk about So You Didn't Get That 5-star. This is the complete Babylonia edition, because these raid-ups are going to go on until the 31st. So basically, what you got is, let's start with the first batch. Caster Gil, the SR caster. Among them, he has weighted more towards HP than attack. But that's good, because he's support. He's quick, arts, buster, arts NP. Pretty classic caster deck. He has a decent hit counts and arts number, though his individual NP gen is a little low, but he should make up for that okay with just arts chains or whatever. Skill 1, the King's Return, gives everybody a star drop buff for 3 turns up to 100%. This is, I think, one of the things that really makes Caster Gil, because plus 100% stars is just great. It's phenomenal. He has his vanilla Charisma A+ for a team attack buff, which is like 21%. And then his third skill, Sovereign of the Magic Wands, gives all allies 30% arts and debuff success buffs for 3 turns on a 6-turn cooldown. And then his NP is an Arts AoE NP with a solid hit counts that gives all allies 20% def up, and tries to reduce enemy defense by a minimum 20%. It's overcharge based. So basically, he is just a wide variety of buffs. Defense, attack, arts, star drop. Anybody who is arts crits based will love him, so he probably goes pretty well with Rhyme. He will go later with future units like Sherlock. And all in all, he's a very well-rounded arts support guy. Passives are Item Creation A, Territory Creation A, and then Divinity B. So basically, with his full set of buffs, he'll fit into a lot of arts comps. He was pretty fun to use in the Babylonia story. I like his animations a lot. They're pretty fun. And so, with nothing else to talk about Caster Guild, let's go ahead and talk about Lancer Medusa. She is also weighted HP over attack, and she's one of those of the Lancers of the archetype QQAAB, which there aren't a lot of, but there's a decent enough number to say that that's an archetype. Especially since I believe that's also, it's Bradamante as well. So she's got fairly medium MP gen, but with good hit counts, as opposed to like how most normal Lancers work, which is like they have crazy good NP, but no hit counts whatsoever. Her first skill is Siren's Song, which is not great, but it gives her potential in Charm Lock teams. That means the three little Snake Sisters will all be able to try and Charm Lock certain enemies. She's only Monstrous Strength C, which gives her 1 turn of 30% attack up, but with a 5-turn cooldown, it's pretty fast, and it helps her low attack. Affection Towards the Beyond A has a long cooldown, but gives her both a single hit Invincible, a 3k Guts for 3 turns. So altogether, it's a great no-die button if you're trying to tank. Her NP is an ST Quick, which has a robust stun chance that scales with Overcharge, and a big hit count, meaning that NPQQ will generate a lot of stars. I think because like the wiki didn't note or anything like it having a specific unlock, I think her NP interlude is already available, but if it's not, when it is, it will also add a new effect to make the target 20% weaker to quick for 3 turns on her NP, which is pretty good if you want to be able to try an NP spam. And makes her a good element in quick teams. She also has Core of the Goddess A for more damage and debuff resist, and then even more debuff resist with magic resistance. So while it'll take a little bit for Quick to fully emerge as an archetype, like a lot of people will be waiting for support Scotty to really make that work, even then, Medusa Lancer is a fairly good example of that style, so she'll suit you well if you like Quick. Also, like we said, she has a place in certain weird stunlock teams. Because if you get your full Snek team, you can do a lot of stuns. Speaking of Snek, let's talk about Big Snek.
Yeah!
Real Big Snek. Like, even her playable sprite isn't as huge as her boss sprite, but she's still enormous on her, sitting back on her giant snake tail. Which is tall enough that her feet don't touch the ground. Yes, Gorgon actually has legs. They're in there somewhere. She has a slight edge in HP and attack over Lobo, who is coming out later or earlier next year. Who will be the first permanent Avenger, by the way. And that'll be real fun. But obviously, she takes a bit of a drop from the likes of Dantes and Jolter. Duh. But she has a quick Arts Buster deck. Her individual NP gain is a bit low, but she has high hit counts to compensate, and the usual Avenger tricks, i.e. she gets a little bit of NP gain every turn, and also if you hit her, she gains a fuck ton of NP. Use her against multi-hit bosses, and you will NP a lot. Speaking of which, her NP is a standard AoE buster, slaps Curse on all enemies for 5 turns, and gives the team NP charge. It's not a lot right now, but she has an interlude later, which will up the damage and increase the charge to, I think, either 15 or 20%, which is pretty good, in addition to the standard damage increase. And Curse scales with Overcharge. So it's alright as like a wave clear type thing, but not super amazing. But can be useful. First skill, is Monstrous Strength A+, which gives you 50% attack for 1 turn every 5 turns. That is a huge buff. and means you will do a lot of damage. Demonic Mutation gives her a sizable guts for 5 turns and a 50% crit strength for 3 turns. I've used Demonic Mutation for the guts a few times. The fact that it sticks around for 5 turns is great. You will almost always either finish up what you're doing or you will use the guts. The guts almost never runs out if you're actually needing to use it. And then her Mystic Eyes A++ has a slightly higher than regular Medusa's chance to stun for the same cooldown, so that's great. I can tell you personally, on Medusa, I used her Mystic Eyes a lot to petrify lots of enemies, so Gorgon does it slightly better. So Gorgon really needs a way to absorb her, manipulate her absorption stat, or a huge bucket of stars to be optimal, unlike Jolter or Lobo, who can slurp. But her actual percentage values are huge, so she can do some great work. I haven't necessarily figured out what that strat is to get her the stars, but yeah, no, with huge attack buffs and huge crit buffs, she will bring a lot of pain as an Avenger. And then lastly, Jaguar Warrior, who really should be Jaguar Man localization team. She's all about Devilman references. She is a 3-star Story Lock Lancer, has the typical Lancer deck, QQA-BB. I gotta say, she's got a slightly unfortunate stat spread. Her HP is the lowest, but her attack is kind of in the middle for 3-star Lancers, which is kind of a shame. But she does have a single target buster NP, which gives her sure hit and lowers enemy debuff resist. Her first skill, Jaguar Punch, is pretty packed. It's got a long cooldown, but gives her 2 hits of evade, 30% buster, and 50% debuff resist, and a small amount of stars. Personally, I don't think it's worth the long cooldown it has, but it's got a decent power, at least. The second one, Jaguar Kick, is much more basic. It's just 30% attack up for 2 turns on a 5-turn cooldown. That's pretty solid. I mean, that's better than the 4-star Medusa's Monstrous Strength C, which is 1 turn for 30%. And then the final skill, Jaguar Eye, gives her 50% crit strength for 3 turns, and on forest maps, it also gives her additional drop rate and absorption. This would be phenomenal if it worked all the time, but it doesn't. Seriously, FGO, where is my turn maps into other terrain tag maps skill and or NP? Seriously. Where's my geo effects, guys? Anyway, on her own, she can do some work with, and, you know, if she has some support, she's great. She has Magic Resistance A tiny amount of Madness Enhancement, and Divinity A. So, you know, as an ST Buster, she's really pretty good. I think her skill spread's a little annoying sometimes, but, I mean, she's got a lot of damage improvement in there. And yes, I think as... Lucky, you actually looked this up because you were concerned. Yes, Jaguar Man does have Madness Enhancement.
Yeah, it was one of those things. I'm like, I was looking at how she acts. Like, she reminds me of a Tamamo cat with her mannerism. So I was like, does she have Madness Enhancement? And yeah, she actually has Madness Enhancement. Yes. I was like, holy shit!
Just a tiny bit, which we're pretty sure is Taiga's fault.
Yeah. God damn it, Taiga.
One of my favorite lines in Babylonia. Miss Jaguamura? So yeah, that's the current servants in NA. They're a lot of fun. Some of them could use some patching up, but I'm sure they will get them over the years. Hey, let's talk about new servants in JP. Let's do my critical analysis. And somehow I'm actually going to beat Voice to these because I don't think he's done videos on them yet, which shocks me. I know he's working hard on his Merlin video, though, which will probably be brilliant. Probably. So, let's talk about Bradamante, mechanically. We talked about her in a character level last episode. By the way, huge shout out to the comment section. Almost everybody who actually responded was super positive about Bradamante and was incredibly surprised, offended even, that people were angry about her. How dare. Yeah. How very dare. So, she is an SSR Lancer who is permanent, which is good. Especially considering she has about the same stats as Lancer Artoria, who is story-locked. We talked about this before, but she's got Quick Arts Buster deck, which is unique for SSR Lancers. No other SSR Lancer, I believe, has that setup. They're all of them are the other type of Lancer deck, which is 2 quicks and 2 busters, or Enkidu is 3 quicks. So, on her NP gain seems a little weak for her 2-hit arts cards, but her quicks can save that, and then some buffs to keep her robust. First skill is Claremont's Order B, which is your standard 30% 3-turn arts quick buff with a 5-turn cooldown. So basically, hey, would you like to make your primary card types better for 3 out of 5 turns by 30%? Yes, you would. Don't be dumb. That's what Claremont's Order is. Second skill is Knight of White Feathers. This gives her a 3k HP Guts for 3 turns and a 30% defense up for 3 turns with a 6-turn cooldown. That is a very robust defensive option. The 30% defense increase is great for her. And also, just the like we said before, like with Gorgon, the multiple turns of a decent HP heal of Guts, she can stick around a lot, and she's got a lot of HP, so she's pretty tanky. And then her third skill, which is Magical Cancel, is a targetable 20% NP battery that also removes debuffs. This is just, in general, a useful skill. The ability to do targetable debuff removal, great. The ability to also throw in a 20% NP battery on top of that, great. And then her NP is fairly useful. This is a quick AoE with a decent hit count, and an overcharge-based NP damage up first, the pretty standard self-steroid. And then it's got a 60% chance to stun everybody, and then slaps enemies with a 20% crit chance down for 3 turns. So it's got a decent hit count, and it's quick, so she'll make some stars back, and she'll get some NP back. Stun is not a mental-based debuff, so less enemies are immune to it. It's still mostly a coin flip on the stun chance, but hey, it'll happen a lot. And then, of course, the 20% crit reduction is a great just insurance policy. I believe that many enemies by default have a less than 20% chance to crit you anyway. So if you're doing a 20% crit chance down buff on an enemy mob, they are incredibly unlikely to crit you. They either straight up can't, or their chances get very low. Which I haven't verified that fact, but I heard it, so I will repeat it like it was true. Let's see, where was I? Passives, I think. Yes. So she's got Magic Resistance A also, just pretty typical for a Lancer. The result is she's a pretty solid permanent. I don't think she will outpace some specialists in the SSR class, and because obviously, well, first of all, she's AoE, but you have single target trait damage dealers in Lancers, and you actually have trait damage dealers AoE too, like Karna, but she's still a very solid for a permanent choice. And yes, theoretically, Parvati plus double Scotty is slightly punchier, at least at low NP levels. But that requires you to have a specific SR, and then you also rolled a specific limited SSR, and you have somebody in your friends list with a specific limit. Listen, double Scotty, we talked about this last week, double Scotty, double Merlin, that kind of stuff, that's really annoying to set up. And probably took money, so don't talk about that like that's a normal-ass thing, okay? If you are doing double Merlin or double Scotty, you were living a charmed life, sir. He says, being able to do double Waivers and double Merlins.
Real talk, that you are living the charmed life.
I know, I am. I already accept this. Look forward to Anniversary 3, where I get Scotty without really trying to, because apparently that's what my luck is. I get all the metagame servants.
Oh yeah, because you got Jalter, real fucking easy.
Yep.
No, you got Jalter your first fucking 10 roll too.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. That's my secret power. My secret luck is all the meta servants.
You also got Ishtar, pretty easy too.
Yeah, that took some work. Ishtar is pretty top tier, but she's not a meta definer.
Yeah, I know, but still, the servants that you the ones that matter, I guess. I don't know. I'm gonna go back to reading.
Still no Surf Mordred. Cries, dies. All right. Anyway, Bradamante is resilient. Her AoE stun is respectable. She will refund a decent amount of NP and stars, so she can farm, or she can do tougher fights, because, like I said, she's resilient as all get out. She's not like an ace, but she's a solid knight on your team. So let's talk about Samba Cats. She is a welfare ruler with very solid attack and HP stats compared to Summer Martha, with a bit better rounded QQA BB deck. Her hit counts are also solid, which means she's got a decent generation spread. Let's start with the NP. She's got an AoE buster. Since she is a free NP5, she will outdamage Amakusa and clear waves. Obviously, she won't do the special utility that Amakusa does with buff removal, but if you want to clear waves, she does it. It also gives her a big self-star drop buff, and then, but with low hits, the NP itself doesn't stand out on this. It does also give a 30 to 50% crit damage buff for the team, though, which is pretty good. Her first skill is a Charisma variant. It also generates up to 10 stars per turn on a 5-turn cooldown, so that's pretty good. You know, it keeps that star train going. Gift of the Goddess gives a targeted ally a star weight jump for 1 turn and for generation for 3. People have done the math. So technically, even at max level, the increase from Gift of the Goddess does not help like a low star weight Berserker jump above Ketz herself as a ruler. But it's still a very decent buff. And then the final skill helps her offense quite a bit. It gives her a 3-turn 30% Buster Plus and dramatically increases her star weight on her Buster cards specifically. So she can make herself crit regularly on her Buster cards, which is a really cool effect. She also has Magic Resistance A+, and Core of the Goddess for an astonishing debuff resist. Downsides? Yeah, she is still a ruler, which means while they do have a positive damage modifier, they still do neutral damage to most enemies. So, while she'll endure a lot of damage except from Avengers and Berserkers, if they show up, she has no defensive ability, and without class advantage, most of your specialists will still outpunch her, just because they're getting a free massive damage increase, right? Her star manipulation is great, but also seems to lack a little something to make it click. She's very potent, but I say she's very generalist. And also, it's kind of interesting. She's Buster Crit in a game that has been trying to get out of Buster Crit for a long time. So it's very interesting to see. But yeah, she's very good, but unlike some people would say, she is not like perfect, the end all be all. Especially considering that Emperor Mothman came out just shortly a while ago, and he is crazy good at what he does. Because he actually has like the crazy self-attack and crit buffs to make the fact that he normally does neutral damage actually compete with other characters. Also, yes, some people have pointed out Samba Ketz has 2 masks. She's a welfare with 2 costumes. You can leave her maskless, or you can put on her normal Lucha mask or her black mask for when she's a heel, which is pretty cool. Apparently, that's what we were saving up a lot of our costume budget for. Also, I should say that I took these notes, a couple weeks ago, obviously, so if anybody's come up with any new brilliant mechanical analysis, I didn't read about it and change my notes. Womp womp. So, then let's move into Teach Me Omega-sensei, as voted on by our lovely patrons.
Super lovely. I love it.
Yes. And how do Mystic Codes work, won by quite a lead. And in case you're not familiar with this, every month we run a topic poll for Teach Me Omega-sensei. If you are supporting our Patreon at the $5 and up level, you can vote. And we do not do that thing where I know some people do, where they count votes differently for different Patreon levels. We don't do that. Just everybody at the 5 and up level gets a vote. Lucky is our official tiebreaker.
Mm-hmm.
And not that we had to do that this time, because there was a clear lead. But yeah, and then we picked this to write about the thing. And so we've actually got a couple of things left over from previous discussions, but also I feel like after this month, we're going to open up some more new topics, and that'll be pretty interesting. But the one that won this month is Mystic Codes. So this will actually be kind of short, which is why it's fine to just tuck in at the end of the show here. But yeah, so you probably hear Mystic Code bandied about a lot. It's a Lucky, would you say that's a core gameplay mechanic, is the player's Mystic Codes?
Oh, yeah. Like, Mystic Codes made a big appearance, what was it, like originally in Extra, I think it was?
Yeah, Mystic Codes have been a gameplay thing for a long time.
Yeah.
In games.
And in games, and then like with FGO, it is like literally like one of the core features. Like it's super big.
Yeah.
Like some team strats like entirely rely on you having a certain mystic code, like having the fucking combat uniform so you can get the switch in.
Yeah. So yeah, they're a pretty big deal, and they're all over the place. But you'll be interested to know that this discussion is actually quite short. It's interesting. So at the highest level, a mystic code, which is sometimes translated as formal wear, interestingly enough, is a tool used by a magus to enhance their magecraft. That's basically your entire high level right there. We could stop this right now, but I'm sure some of you would have questions, so I'm going to keep going. There's two basic types of mystic codes. The first is an amplifier. It can store or amplify magical energy for use in enhancing a spell. The second one, which you might think of more when you think about mystic codes, are specialized. They have a specific usage and are activated when a magus gives them magical energy. Once activated, they perform a specific mystery, basically a supernatural effect, for as long as they are supplied with energy. Many noble phantasms are of this type. Because of their unique usage, they can be very energy efficient in performing their one trick. So, Rin's gems, and if you're familiar with K and K, Azaka's glove are examples of the first type. Those are basic, almost like what other universes or stories might talk about focus items. They're a way to store extra magical energy so you can get a bigger effect or otherwise amplify the effect you're going to do. If you're looking for an example of the second type, if you know of any noble phantasm that's described as a mystic code, that's that. It does a special, unique thing when given mystic power. So, the PC's mystic codes in FGO might be an example of the specialized type, since each specific code allows specific spells. If you wanted me to theorize, to put on my theory glasses, I would assume that the player character has minimal formal training and power as a mage. We know that already. Your mage's potential is pretty low. But they do know how to utilize their magical energy, their ood, which helps them with servants, because obviously you need to supply them with magical energy, which is a thing you do pretty regularly. And thus, that allows you to empower specific mystic code effects. But that's just an assumption. I don't think that's ever been explicitly spelled out by the game.
There's a lot of hand-waving when it comes to the master, really.
Yeah. But honestly, which having delved into some of Nasu's like high-level universe theory crafting writings, I'm okay with that. Because boy howdy, some of those times.
Is it one of those things that there's such high-level stuff that when you have to think about some of the low-level stuff, it just kind of gets eaten up?
Yeah, it's just like, some of it is so like high-level metaphysical stuff, I'm like, I have no idea what this actually means. You've just described some like high-level theory shit. I'm like, okay, but what does that even look like? I don't fucking know. I don't even know. There's no real set power to a mystic code, and how complex the process of making them isn't explicitly described, but we should assume it has some correlation to the power of the magus. You've probably seen the CE and been disappointed by it if you've been playing the game for long. But Shinji's Book of the False Attendant counts as a mystic code. It grants him authority over Ryder as her master, because, as everybody should know by now, the one who actually summoned Ryder was Sakura. But despite being so simple, it has no other magical power other than to basically let him use Sakura's command spells. He was so shitty at making it that they had to make it several times for it to work. Meanwhile, also a craft essence, Zeltrich's Jeweled Sword is a mystic code weapon which is capable of activating the second magic in caps, which is a big fucking deal. So yeah, there's no real set power limit. Obviously, some noble phantasms are mystic codes, so that's a big deal, right? It seems to be a lot about the character of the creator and their general power level and ability. Zeltrich's mystic codes are obviously really good because he's super badass. So, some examples of mystic codes which you might be familiar with. There's Fragarak, which is also a noble phantasm type. The Bronze Link Manipulators, if you forgot them, that's Fiore's Doc-Ock arms from Fate Apocrypha, which are also a craft essence. By the way, you're going to recognize a lot of these as craft essences. It's funny. Speaking of which, the Volume and Hydrogyrum is one. So is the Jeweled Sword.
Wait, I thought the Volume of Hydrogyrum was a fucking spell.
No, that's a mystic code. That's a physical item which has that effect when he empowers it.
Oh, that's how Waver was able to. Okay.
Yeah, he was able to inherit one because it's a physical construct that you empower and it does the thing.
Oh.
That's basically how. If the question is something a spell or a mystic code, if it's a physical object that does stuff, it's a mystic code. Some of them have like spells embedded in them or let spells flow through them. It's not named, but if you remember from Fate Zero, Tokiyome Tosaka, he had that staff which he could do like multiple high-level spells through. That was a mystic code. It was like a focus gem that let him amplify his power without wasting a lot of his energy.
Okay.
The Jeweled Sword is another. Interestingly enough, Kiritsugu's Contender is technically a mystic code.
I was just about to ask that.
Yeah, that's a very unique one because most mages don't like guns, but yes, when he combines it with his origin bullet, he can do his special effect, which sucks. Prelati's Spellbook is another mystic code type, a Noble Phantasm. The Azoth Sword, both the short sword that Rin actually has and the actual original that Paracelsus uses are both considered that. Ruby and Sapphire are both explicitly mystic codes.
Mm-hmm.
They're obviously very high level because they're thinking? ? They talk at least. But yeah, they do mystic code stuff. And etc., etc. That's really the end of my notes. Like, it's funny that something that is very integral both as a mechanic in multiple video games and also as a pretty key aspect of the setting is not so niddly-griddly specified.
I wouldn't use the word niddly-griddly. I would just say more like broad and sweeping.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, there's not a drill-down specific. The Mystic Code is created by focusing the power of the Magus into the blah-blah-blah.
Yeah, it's
and
just all like, it's a thing that does magic. It's a Mystic Code. Ta-da!
It's a magical thing.
Insert hand waving.
Yeah. I mean, if you wanted me to ask why are they called Mystic Codes, I think it's because Nasu went to great lengths to compare modern magecraft to computers and programming and electronics, magic circuits, etc.
Honestly, Nasu, like, this is what I don't know, like, a lot of, like, Nasu's, like, high-level theory shit, fortunately, because I haven't read it, but just look at the guy's naming sense to begin with.
Yeah.
The magic, Heaven's Feel, Unlimited Blade Works, Bounded Field.
Yeah.
It's like...
Also, the hilarious thing is a lot of these are, like accepted localizations. Like, like we talked about this with Noble Phantasm. That's what Nasu says that translates to in English. The actual, like, literal Japanese is something just like treasure.
Yeah. Honestly, I like the word Noble Phantasm, though.
Oh, no, it's Noble Phantasm is really sweet. It's a cool name for a cool idea. It's just
yeah, but it's like
funny that like when they say the Japanese word that means Noble Phantasm, they're just like saying treasure or something.
But yeah, like Nasu's naming, like that's one thing I have come to accept is just Nasu's naming sense is way the fuck out there, and it's very esoteric.
Character names, like mage names. Mages are not modern humans. They've abandoned the normal way of names, which is an excuse for me to say I don't know how to write European names. Marisbury. Or any of the fucking cryptor names in Lost Belt. Which confused the fuck out of everybody for weeks when they were introduced. They were like, how the fuck do we write these names? I think it was an actual like key visual where they actually released what the official English transcription of their names were before anybody was like, oh, that's actually what those guys are called.
Oh, man.
Like, for a long time, everybody thought that Marisbury's name was Marsbilly. Which, and they were like, that's not out of character for Nasu's writing. That could totally be legit.
Yeah. You know your naming sense is out there when people like can see like several variations. It's like shit. It could be any of these, and we don't fucking know.
Yeah. So yeah. Well, hell. I mean, I listed some of the fun mystic code names. Like, what the fuck does volume and hydrogyrum mean? Where did that come from?
Or like fucking not even that. Just like fucking like a kaleidoscope. Why is it called kaleidoscope?
Because you're like looking through a kaleidoscope and you can see all the different images, man.
That's like, I don't know, too high level. I'm pretty sure Nasu has a reason why he calls them all this, but...
Listen, the thing is, we talked about Nasu's writing with sometimes he just likes cool scenes. I would entirely believe that if you asked him, hey, Nasu, why is this called this? He would shrug and go like, I don't know, sounded cool.
Yeah. I can't fault him for that, honestly. Like, sorry, we're talking about a culture. I'm talking about a culture where it is a commonplace for you to yell an attack name before you use it. So,
yeah, no, I mean, hey, I've made cool names just to make cool names.
Yeah, I do. It's
fun. But yeah, so that's Mystic Codes. Hopefully that edificated everybody on that subject. And if you complain about lack of further information, don't ask me. I gave you what I was able to learn.
Lucky didn't know anything, and I'm gonna be real, I was kind of zoned out for most of this. I was reading manga.
Yeah, I know.
I said this in Patreon. I can't wait for us to actually have a camera where you can show us so you can actually see me just zone out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. If we actually get decent cameras, that'll probably be pretty funny because I have been known to emote to the non-existent camera before. Though I'd have to position the camera in such a way or position myself so that I can give it the full-blown side eye.
Oh, actually, at a 3/4 angle, because then you could just look at the camera.
Yeah, basically. I'd probably have to make.
See, I just tried to do side eye. I'm looking at my TV now.
Yeah, when I side eye, I usually look directly at my computer tower because that's to the left of me slightly. If we did do video a lot, I'd have to make sure I shave more regularly.
Same. I gotta look pretty for y'all.
All right, let's. I feel like we were both gonna say we were gonna wrap up the show.
Yeah, but I'll take it. You've been talking for a little bit. So that's this month's Teach Me Omega-sensei. Right now we have 3 more options available. So for next week's phone, I want all you to think. Right now we have, what is the Mages Association? What is a person's origin? By the way, if there's a tiebreaker, I'm totally going for that one. And we also have, what are the extra classes, which is something that's going to be coming up a lot more in the next coming year. Yeah. So everyone think it over, and listen, we'll get to voting next month.
Mm-hmm. And I may or may not add some more by the time we actually get to the next month. We'll talk about that in the next show, I think.
Yeah. But with that, let's bring it down to final thoughts. Omega, you got anything specific?
Well, I just want to, I'm sure you're thinking of saying this, but I want to go ahead and bring it up that if you were listening to this live or you're listening to the audio, tomorrow I'm not going to be here for What's Up, so Lucky is going to take a solo reign and he's going to make it a public show where everybody can join in and listen live, no matter what your level or whatever it is. And I have no idea what that will be like, but it'll be something.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm going to do. It's going to be crazy. I'm going to wing it.
Mm-hmm. If you're watching the video version of this, that has undoubtedly already happened and may have already been posted. I don't know about that.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, because Lucky's going to have to... It's either going to have to wait until Monday until I get back, or Lucky's going to have to handle that.
The only problem with that is I have to work tonight. Like, I'm going to be like, as soon as we're done with here, I have to jump in the shower.
No. Well, I mean, it's like, that's the handle, the whatchamacallit, the handling the posting of stuff after it's recorded. Like, this I'll do fine. That's fine. I can edit this. I'm not actually leaving until tomorrow. It's just, I will actually be gone then. So, yeah. So, like I said, the audio and video will either have to wait until Monday when I get back, or Lucky will have to figure that out sometime over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's, I think that's everything.
Yep. Did I have a final thoughts? I had some stuff I wanted to talk about. Something I'm excited about. Next month, the second Heaven's Feel movie is coming out. Holy shit. Right.
We're in the middle of a campaign for that, actually.
Yeah. I am super excited. Like just literally like last weekend, rewatched the first one. Holy shit, still good. Holy shit, this art book's amazing. Holy shit, I have the soundtrack. It's amazing. Also fucking shoot. I had it, but I lost it. This is what I get for reading manga. Man, I don't know. I really should write these down when I think about them. The only problem is I always think of them when I'm at work, and I'm not supposed, I use air quotes, to have my phone with me while I'm working.
Mm.
So I'm like, I have no way to write these down. I need to like keep a notepad or me on something.
Just to write them on your forearm.
Ugh.
You know, with a pen.
I'm trying to think. Nope, I don't got it.
Yeah, he's lost it. The other thing I can think of is obviously, like we said at the beginning, there should be, I believe, another stream for JP, which will probably be New Year's. I think we mentioned this to Voice, but hopefully he'll be able to join us on the 28th for the last show of the year to kind of do a retrospective. We've planned for that, but I don't know if we've gotten a lot of... I don't know if he's for sure nailed that down with us. If he did, I don't remember.
He hasn't, but I think he's been like super fucking busy.
Yeah,
so.
no, it's funny. He does updates on YouTube sometimes, which I only catch in certain moments because it's interesting. The YouTube formats don't necessarily display that information to me very cleanly. But I know he said that he's been delayed in releasing his Merlin video a little bit. But hopefully he'll still be available next Friday to come have a show with us and talk about stuff. And I think either way, I want the last show of the year, the last Let's Talk FGO of the year to be public. So I'll go ahead and say that right now. That we're planning on doing that. And yeah, that'll be fun. Also, because we switched the days, the show won't be on my birthday, but next week is my birthday.
Yeah.
So that's everything I got, I think.
Nah, I'm good.
All right. You didn't remember anything else?
Yep.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and wind this down. Let everybody know, hey, if you like this video, give it a like. It's, really great and all. If you're listening to the audio, you can give it a like, too. That's always kind of fun. If you have any comments or questions about anything we said, go ahead and leave those in the comment section down below, or consider joining our Discord. That link is in the description. And of course, if you are new here and have not already, please subscribe to the channel so you can always get our videos. And even if you already subscribed, don't forget that bell for notifications so you always know when we post a new video. Because like we said, could be anytime. And also, like it says at the top of the show, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can access this episode in audio format, downloadable for just $1 a month. It's a huge bargain deal. And yeah, that's about everything. I guess I should say as my final coda, which is not necessarily Let's Talk FGO related, is, hey, it's a holiday week next week, coming off a holiday weekend, so our podcast should still be going up regularly as far as we know, but don't expect a lot of other video content that week. It is a holiday. I don't know what kind of stuff we'll get out. And that's it. Usually this is the part where Lucky has a final thought or something, and sometimes he doesn't.
No matter what, no matter when, we're at the end of our story, and everything that you've accomplished, you should be proud of.